Welcome to our fashion show red carpet event for January 2022. My name is Christie Ramirez and I am a soul coach. So today we are here for the final episode of this show series. We made it this far. We started this last February, so is why the last episode is actually going to be in January, because this is a huge theme for this month, is that it is the ending of this cycle that we've been on. This past year, we've learned about the spiritual journey. We've been through the transitions. We've learned about different themes, because that's what the fashion show red carpet event is about. We discuss different topics, different themes, and go deep into those. And we've reached now this state where we have evolved spiritually. The holiday special spectacular for the fashion show was about the spiritual evolution. And as I was coming up with the theme for today, I actually wanted to make it sort of like a spiritual evolution part 2. This is finally our renewed self. So the theme for January 2022 is the renewed self. Because again, if you've been following the journey, you have been transforming, you have been growing, you have been evolving. And interesting enough, February 1st, which is a completely new energy, this is like the new book, the new fresh start, and even the new opportunity to start again. And so the renewed self is here. This is us transformed and evolved. And like I was saying, February 1st is actually the beginning of a new Chinese year. It is the year of the tiger, which again, my wardrobe always speaks as well, right? It is a fashion show. And today I have like this pink leopard or tiger kind of outfit, right? Because it's our spirit animal. But this is also the self-love healing that's has taken place, right? As we also go through the spiritual journey, because we grow and we learn to love ourselves. And that's the culmination here today, and even the celebration of this self-love that has expanded. And it's going to flow into all areas of our life, and it's going to make everything that much better. If you're a leader, it's only made you stronger. It's only made you more capable of now also loving others. And so let's talk about a little bit. Today's going to be a more brief show, because I feel like we've done most of the talking this past year, but there is some to talk about today about what's next, right? What's ahead, what to expect. And like I said, today was very unexpected. I had this planned, right, the January fashion show, but I didn't think it was going to be today. And so for me right now, it's just more intuitive what I'm going to say. It's not like I've really thought about it too much, but speaking from personal experience as well, I really feel like this is, us putting ourselves first as individuals, which is going to help the collective. Spiritual evolution, if we're to go deeper into what we spoke about in the holiday fashion show, this is about our capability as humans, right? Reaching this potential that we just have no idea what we're capable of. The magnitude of the potential that we hold as human beings, but also as light beings, as beings that are not from here on this earth. And we're here on this earth to create revolutionary change, to create even earthly change, planetary change, cosmic change. And it begins with self, but then these selves coming together in groups that are like-minded, have the same vision, have the same goal, and have also the same mission, right? And this mission, I feel like, is also being renewed. So part of the renewed self that we are feeling as, our mission is also being renewed, a little bit like upgraded. Our mission is being upgraded because there were a little bit of missing pieces, or perhaps we were just not ready to hear it yet. But now we are, and so these pieces will be revealed to us. During this month of January, there's a lot of healing that's been taking place in January. January has been about loosening up those ties and closing out those cycles to begin February anew. February, no karma, no nothing from the past can come along with us, because it's baggage that's just too heavy. And so we're entering February, which is really just around the corner. As I'm filming today, we are mid-January, because this is again also coming in with this full moon in Cancer that we are about to approach this weekend. And as I'm filming this, it's Saturday, the weekend of the full moon. And it's about the culmination now, also about our home and our family, our friendships, our partners, everything in our life, which we'll talk more about that in the spirituality retreat. But all of that is being transformed and evolved. So every individual in your life is going to be evolved to be able to fit into this mission, into the next chapter of your life. It's like we're entering into this new portal. And there are two portals, right? Or should I say there's just one portal. And the ones who don't enter the portal just stay again in their stagnancy, repeating karmic cycles year after year and generation after generation. These are ancestral karmas that sometimes don't get broken by people who are not aware of the spiritual journey, or who've chosen not to awaken. And all of us here watching the show is because obviously you are awake and you've been going with the flow about these shows, for example. So if you're new to today's episode, please make sure to watch the episode 1 and all through, because they all culminate one off of the other. And they all teach you a different message that is going to teach you about the spiritual journey. And it's going to help you to evolve, and then authentically having reached this point that we're speaking about today, right? Because you can't skip any steps. And God is telling you that if you're not at this point that I'm speaking to you right now, like let's say you just came upon this episode today, there's still time for you, because there's always new generations being awoken, right? But the timeline that and the wavelength that I am communicating to is the ones who have been on the journey for this amount of time, like a year, okay, and or more, 2 to 3 years. And this past year has been like the most transformative moment spiritually, internally. And now we're reaching this point where it's time again. It ties in with the Lightworker University themes, which is the metamorphosis. Is about now the physical transformation, because the internal transformation, which includes our emotions, includes our mental state, and includes our spiritual state and beliefs and attitudes and mindset, all of that has been transformed. So that's a lot of behind the scenes work, right? Which is why if you're a light worker watching this today and you resonate with this message, chances are you've been doing all this inner healing work in like your cave, in like a hermit mode, right? Because that's, as light workers, what we need to do. A lot of light workers who are awoken to their mission and to their journey spend a lot of time in hermitage before coming out to the world with their gifts, because it first needs to be cultivated. Just like the butterfly, when they are in the cocoon, they are nourishing, cultivating their wings so that they can be able to spread them and fly. But those wings need to be strong. So it's the foundational work, which at the end of the day, the true foundation is not physical, it's spiritual, mental, and emotional. So all of this has been aligned, has been healed, and has been like reinstated, rejuvenated, reconfigured even, right? In the way that is changed and shifted our perspective about life, about the spiritual journey. And it's just so deep that I can't even explain in today's show, because that's more of what we learn in my School of Light. That's where all the deep knowledge comes in about the spiritual journey and the evolution that's gonna help you to get there, right? Through study, through research, through introspection, through reflection, through communication with God, with our spirit guides, with our angels. And all of that, as us light workers, we have finally reached this point where we are like in victory mode, you can say. This is the beginning of our physical breakthroughs, hence the renewed self. And that's what January 2022 is about. It's the final culmination of your spiritual journey that we have undergone in this fashion show, Red Carpet Event Series. Now, this is a show series that is free, provided by my Spiritual Counseling TV network. And this year, also for the Spiritual Counseling TV network, I'm going to be providing a lot more exclusive content for the Spiritual Counseling TV network. That's going to be educational, a lot on mental health, a lot on psychology, also a lot of focus on my women's project, because these are also aspects that are now coming up as what's next. Now, I feel like the spiritual aspect, I feel like, wow, this is what I'm getting now. So, in my Spiritual Counseling TV network, you know, we've been doing a lot of mental health work more than anything. So mental therapy work, and even some emotional, but not quite as much. It was more mental based because we were doing a lot of trauma recovery therapy sessions and motivational speeches based on those themes, which is the mental body. And in my fashion red carpet event, we were talking about the spiritual body, right? And it was free. And the love show is more about spiritual love, which is spiritual love, but it's not really tied in with the individual journey. But it's like the after, right? When you've done your inner healing work, that's the reward that's waiting for you, which is the spiritual love. So in my health and wellness brand, we focus a lot on the physical healing, which is holistic nutrition, meditation, yoga, our spiritual practice, right? Breathing, our spirituality retreats as well. And now this year with my spiritual counseling TV network, I'm being guided to now continue those therapy sessions, but focus even more on now the emotional body, which is something that we really haven't touched up too much on, because that's also part of mental health. And again, we're gonna touch up on everything, but that's a huge theme that people are gonna need to be really, really needing help with. And that is especially important when you're in the spiritual journey, because a lot of people can get lost spiritually. A lot of people can get lost spiritually, and what this means is that their soul inside is not even in their physical body anymore. And that feeling, that can really, ruin a person's life. And that's where mental health actually stems from. It's really my belief that mental health is really tied in closely with the spiritual nature of that person and their soul. And so when you see people like in asylums, right, when they've gone basically crazy, you can say, it's because their soul inside has been lost. Their soul is lost, and it's lost. And a lot of people also get that result of having their soul lost when they are too much into drugs as well. Drugs can really ruin a person's mental health. And it's really sad to see, because, that's like, it's really sad to see, because that's like a waste of life in a way, right? And that's just a life gone wrong as well. And that's something that definitely, therapy helps with. But again, that person needs to be conscious enough to even understand, right, what they're dealing with, going to a therapist and learning more about their mental state. And again, is why it's important for you to stay knowledgeable and stay educated on mental health. And so that's what we're going to be doing a lot this year in the Spiritual Counseling TV network, bringing my expertise with psychology and teaching more about that, because I feel like that's something that's really happening collectively, and is something that I would really love for all of you to be able to evolve and ascend on your soul journey. And it really begins by doing the inner soul work. And the first step to that is actually acknowledging that there is a soul within you, and then accepting that you want to live through your soul, not through who you portray to be, which is again the ego. The ego is going to always come up very strongly when you're on the spiritual journey. And that's where my School of Light comes in, my spiritual book club, the A Course in Miracles book that we're reading, because it teaches us that the ego will make you lose yourself, because the ego just wants to have the power over your body, over your soul, and then kind of like let the ego be the one that has the control, the status, the portrayal in life, which is the illusion. And the ego is just going to make you go the wrong way, because it's just going to want you to focus on what others think, what other people see you as, this mask that people wear. And that's societal, right? That's societal over focus, because the true aspect and the true purpose behind the spiritual journey is focusing on the soul growth, and that's internal. It is unseen, and a lot of people don't do that because they need to see. They're too stuck on the ego, which is the vanity of the illusion, right? And so when we remove that veil of illusion that blocks people from growing on their soul journey, they can start to see not only their real meaning for life, but also why they're really here, their purpose, and how they can even make more of a bigger difference by surrendering to what they need to do, what God truly put them on this planet to do. And part of being a renewed self is realizing all those things. Realizing that what you once thought, or should I say what your ego once thought your life was about, or what your ego wants to achieve in this life, then all of that dissipates and disappears along with the ego. And then you are free to live a new life that is more spiritually renewed. You are the spiritually renewed self, which is actually, I think, what we're going to call this theme for this month, the spiritually renewed self. Because you've been cleansed from the inside out. You've been purified. Your chakras have been realigned, rebalanced, and then realigned, healed. And all these chakras are now activated and working full time, at full blast, at full potency. And so we're receiving a whole ton of revelations. We're receiving a whole ton of inspirations, creative ideas, knowledge out of nowhere, right? Like genius sparks of inspiration that are not even humanly capable. And the reason is because they are divinely inspired. It comes from a source more powerful than us. And so when we're manifesting at this level, which is what the light workers who have reached this level are like gold manifesting machines, because there's so much deeper than that goes into achieving goals, going after your dreams, right? Crossing things off your to-do list, being successful in this life. What does success really even mean? And that's where people get lost, in the illusion of what success is, in the illusion of what living a good life is, in the illusion of what being in love truly is, right? Because a lot of people really are in relationships but have no idea what love really is, the true kind of spiritual love. And again, that's what the love show is about, right? It's so much more transcendental than your regular mundane love relationship. And when it comes to goals, when it comes to going after your dreams, it's so trendy at these times, right? That everybody wants to be an achiever. Everyone wants to be successful. It's about the mindset. It's about just working hard. It's more than that. It goes so much deeper. And in fact, it goes spiritually deeper. And even deeper than that, it's about co-creating. I was going to say collaborating, but it's more about co-creating, which is a whole new level of collaboration. It's about co-creating with heaven, with God, Source Himself, and then with our angels, which are God's helpers and God's messengers on this planet, right, in this earthly realm. And when we're manifesting and co-creating at this level as the renewed self, this is where we're really now able to actually make change in the world, because the world is in screaming help of change. The world is crying for help at these times that we're in, and these light workers are being prepared. There's many light workers like myself around the world who are being in the cocoon, which means in shielded, in like secret mode, you can say. In the cocoon, we are being transformed. We are being regenerated so that we can come up as these renewed light workers and start to make this difference. And this difference, this change is starting to show about coming this February, which is the whole new cycle. And who knows, maybe I'll create a whole new show series that I will have to think about, because it's something that is this year is going to be very important for the mission. And so, wow, that was powerful. I feel like this is what today's about. And you know what, actually, if you want to even learn more about this manifestation gift, talent, and skill that is, I want to say, is cultivated or developed as a result of the spiritual journey, then maybe check out in the Spiritual Counseling TV network. When you become a member, there's a special 2-hour event for the New Year's of 2021 where I talked about alchemization, I talked about manifestation, and then we also created a vision board together for creating the life of your dreams. And so this is what it's about. It's about becoming these manifesting machines, and more than anything, these gold manifesting machines, right? Not just glitter, Because remember, there's this saying actually that says, not everything that glitters is gold, right? You've all heard of that cliche saying. And it's so true, because there's so much glitter out there in the world, right? Glamorization, right? Over hype of something or someone. I mean, take a look at social media, right? Marketing is a perfect example. You can have the best marketer in the world, but what really is behind that brand, that person? Is it really what they're portraying it to be, what they're promoting it to be, right? You can have no marketer or the worst marketer, but if the person there really is genuine and has something meaningful to say, then a person will notice through that, right? At least a sane, awoke person would see right through that. And so this is the world waking up, right? This is what this year has been about. And seeing the colors, seeing the veil as a veil, seeing everything for what it really is, that we're not just living in a world that we think we knew. You know, that's kind of like the mysterious part of all this, right? It's like we've learned so much about the spiritual journey, and then you wonder, you know, there's really so much more to this world. And it's almost like so mysterious, yet so intriguing at the same time. It's like you want to know, right? And I know, like, you know, conspiracy theories have been popping up all over the world, which I'm not really a huge fan of, like, looking into that, right? I don't really do any of that, but you know, it just makes you wonder though. You know, there's just so much, you know, and that's why also I don't listen to the media, because I know that even though I might not look into conspiracy theories, I also don't believe in the news media 100%, which that's another actually conspiracy theory right there, right? The news sometimes can be, it's a lot of masks that are worn, a lot of truths withhold, which is basically lying, right? When you withhold a truth and don't say it when it's called for you to say a truth, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's for the people in the media, if you're withholding truth, that's the same as lying. And so this is the revealing as well, which is actually a special event that we did at the Spiritual Counseling TV network this year, for this year of 2022, the revealing, that you definitely want to watch it if you want to learn more about what's ahead month by month this new year. And so with this renewed self, it's also helping us to sharpen our intuition, helping us to see the world clearly for what it is, helping us to see others for who they are, helping us to see ourselves with clarity as well. Our situations that we are dealt with, or should I say that we are confronted with, so that we may deal with them gracefully from a higher perspective. And everything has been reflected to get to this point of renewal. And my A New You Tell Me Soul Coaching program this year, which is going to be refilmed, relaunched, re-promoted, it's been upgraded. That's the program for you this year. This is a 10-week soul coaching program that is going to transform your life. It's going to help you do this inner soul work. That's the next step for all of you, actually, because it is going to be launched in February. And this is a powerful program because I put a lot of years of brain work behind that program. Trust me that program has been redone like 3 times. I started that program as soon as I started open my business in 2019. August of 2019, I was already coming up with the name for that program, coming up with the PowerPoints. And interesting that I have not changed the PowerPoints ever since. It's just the speech and the teachings that I've upgraded, basically. Like, I've refilmed that program 3 times, and this will be my 4th time. So you can imagine this is going to be the final time as well. This is the one, this is the it one, right? And so you don't want to miss out on that program. It's really going to help you with this transformation, with this metamorphosis, to reach this renewed self. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet today because, again, it's also about quality over quantity. You know, as a renewed higher self, we realize that in this life, it's about quality over quantity, over what we have. It's about the quality behind what we have. And that goes for anything, right? What you do for a living, your partner, the people around you, how much money you make even, right? It's not about how much money you make, but it's about what you do with the amount of money that you make. The exponential potential that you can do with the money that you receive from God himself, right? At the end of the day, and what you do with it to give back to the world, right? You can be making not that much money, but be making a huger influence than someone who's a millionaire. And so that renewed state that we have reached now helps us to see everything from a new eye, a spiritual eye, a renewed eye. reevaluate our relationships, our friendships, our connection with community, and our influence upon the world, right? Upon humanity, with our mission. And as we close out today's fashion show red carpet event, I want to congratulate you for reaching this point, and I want you to remember that this is a continual growth. Don't ever think that just because you reached the peak of your life, of your journey, of your mission, that it's over. Because in fact, it's just an opportunity to upgrade and do it again, but in a higher state now, okay? And that's the cycle of life. Progression is what keeps us going. It's what keeps us alive. It's what keeps us incentivized. It's what keeps us happy, motivated, right? It gives meaning to our life. Progression, even Tony Robbins says this, progression is the secret to happiness. Because once you stop progressing, once you stop growing, and remember, growth doesn't only come about more, right? Again, the term quality over quantity. It's not about more quantity, making more money, for example, but rather the quality. Maybe you reached already your peak of your success, of your career. What's next? It's about now giving more quality to that, and more quality and more quality. Because the quality is infinite. That's never going to stop, but quantity will. Eventually, there will be a time when no more is be able to reach, right? And so if you understand what I'm saying, in whatever area this means, you know, it's like if you want a big house, let's say, there comes a point that, okay, there's a standard, there's like a limit to what kind of, how big your house can be, right? Because if not, it becomes a building. If not, it becomes like, you know, a building, literally, right? Like a mansion can only get so big, for example. So it's about the quality inside that house, inside that mansion, that's going to give it meaning. It's going to keep you in joy. It's going to keep you emotionally fulfilled, okay? So this is a powerful message. It was very metaphoric today, and I know it was shorter than usual, but this is what it's about. It's about just getting straight to the point. And you know, this new year as well, all my speeches, all my content is definitely going to be shorter as well, because I feel like God just wants me to get to the point. And I feel like this is also going to, I know, because you know why? Because again, being that this year is the year of spiritual mission, all of us who are on the spiritual mission are going to be working very hard, long hours, and there's not going to be enough time to listen to everybody. You know, this happens to me. I also listen to other people who influence me, and sometimes I don't have time to watch every single video or every single person that I follow. And you know, it's just because sometimes there's just too much things to do for the mission, and that will always come first, right? God is the center of all that I do in my life, and I am completely of service to God, and that's how I live my life. That's like my mantra and my motto for life, because I know that everything good will come from there. I will always be blessed and protected and shielded from whatever chaos is happening outside of us, because us light workers are very much in our own little world. We are shielded in this heavenly bubble, because that's the only way that we can help others, humanity, who might be suffering, who might be dealing with chaos, who might be drowning, metaphorically. Because we need to be in this higher state of mind so that we may be able to see the situation from a higher perspective, and that's where we get the solutions, right? Because we don't want to just lay out the problem. We also want to help people get out of that problem. And the only way that we can do that is if we're not enmeshed in that problem, and we are seen from an outside point of view. And that's, as a therapist, how it works as well, right? We don't want to get involved. We are just the observer. So as light workers, as we are all become our spiritually renewed self, this month especially, and for the rest of your life, be the observer. This is our only task in this life, is to be the observer. Because being the observer will also open the doors to this present moment, to the answers in this stillness, right? The power of now. And that is a book by Eckhart Tolle that we're definitely going to be reading at the Spiritual Book Club this year in my School of Light. You don't want to miss out. And there's a lot of other books as well that are also coming out. And yeah, we're almost done with the A Course in Miracles. So come and join us. It's going to be so enlightening for all of you. That's where a lot of more content comes up. I know I'm not always on YouTube, but definitely at my spiritual book club, in my School of Light, I am always there. And so come and join my groups this year. Be a part of the membership programs to my Spiritual Counseling TV network and to my School of Light. And if you need personal guidance this year with your specific journey, book a session with me, a soul coaching session. I take individuals, family, children, women, and couples. And anything that you are having trouble with, anything that is impeding your growth and blocking your ability to become this renewed self, seek out help, because this is the way to do it. Seek out people who have already made it to this far, to this peak of the spiritual journey, and surrender to this healing, to the guidance from above, this spiritual guidance. Also this year, we're going to be resuming the daily morning spiritual guidance videos. So definitely make sure that you check that out. On a daily, it's going to resume actually February as well. So actually there's a lot of February new stuff coming up. There's a lot of things coming up in February for my Spiritual Counseling TV network. So this is a huge sign, you know. One last note before I close out today, you know, I did say that if you're new to this journey, if you've never watched this show before, the fashion show, red carpet event, or the love show, I did say that it could apply to you this year. But now God is saying not so much, because we are always talking in real time in all my videos. And the only exception to that is when we're doing educational stuff, like in the Spiritual Counseling TV network, when we're talking about like therapy sessions or just the Women's Project or Mindset Talks, which is more just like universal time, right? Because it's just education. It's like a teaching class, you can say. And also in my School of Light. But the shows that are like based on the time that I'm talking about, right, the energy, that is the time that it applies for. So God wanted to make that correction today, because you can't go back in time. You see, you can't repeat and you can't revert. So if you've not been on your soul path this year, you know, there is always a second opportunity. But keep up to date and I guess just catch up. That would be the answer. Catch up by doing extra homework and maybe watching more videos, learning about the journey, because time is just continuously going to go. It's not going to wait for those who are not awoken or who have chosen not to embark on the journey, on this ship that we're all on right now. Time doesn't wait, right? And so this is why it's so imperative that people get on it and continue to move on their journey. Continue with the next steps that we're being guided towards. Not procrastinate and not try to stay in a time that we love perhaps in that moment, but trust that the next time or the next moment that's coming up is going to be even better. And that's how evolution works, right? Evolution and evolving is about, like, let's apply this to different situations before we close out today. Like if it's a career, right? Let's say that you're in a career that you are absolutely in love with, right? And you're being asked to upgrade that career, but somehow you've already got into your comfort zone. So this is what it boils down to. It's like people who are not willing to step out their comfort zone, right? If you're already so used to that routine that you're in that comfort zone, and you don't want to upgrade because it requires different amount of efforts, or it requires making the extra effort, or you're scared, or you're in fear or in anxiety. So once you move into that new phase, you realize that it is better than this comfort zone that you thought. And again, that's also with relationships, right? Maybe you're in a comfort zone in a relationship, which is hence you settled into a relationship, and God is guiding you to a new relationship that might be the relationship of your dreams, but there's fear around that. There's hesitancy because there's this extra effort that's required, or maybe it's just the effort of starting over, right? Relationships also take investment in time, right? And so maybe you've invested a lot of time in that relationship, and now it's like a burden. It's like almost like a laziness to that. And again, when it comes to the mission, which also involves love, spiritual love, laziness is actually one of the main sins, right? If you think about it. So we cannot let laziness get in the way of doing what we need to do. Slothness is the term, right? And so in whatever way that means, maybe it's when it comes to your health, maybe you've gotten into a comfort zone that maybe you're not taking care of your health. and you're being guided to upgrade and make time out of your schedule. Now, maybe this means that you need to wake up an hour earlier. Maybe this is going to take away an hour of your sleep. Or maybe you're going to have to stay up later during that night. Whatever the case, it requires effort. Evolution requires effort. Evolution does not come easy, and does not come to those who are not willing to put in the work, who are not willing to go that extra mile and just take that leap of faith and get out their comfort zone. And so in order to reach this state of renewed self, spiritually, you're going to have to take that leap of faith. You're going to have to gain this courage, bravery, and just do it. Discipline's going to help you there, spiritual discipline. And so that's how we're going to close off today. Don't be afraid of what's ahead, of what's new, what's the new open doors opening up for you. Because these are the doors that you must walk through to walk through this portal of this new cycle that we're about to step into, this new world, this new year, 2022. Thank you all for joining me in this massive roller coaster ride this year with the Fashion Show Red Carpet event show series. And I really hope that it helped to teach you a lot about the journey through the different topics that we've been talking about, and just the different education that I've been bringing into these different topic and show series and episodes. And that's it for today. I really wish I had more to say, but I think that that's it for today. So thank you all for joining me. My name is Christie Ramirez, and I'm your soul coach. Go to my website, christieramirez.com, to learn more about all my features and what I offer and more of my shows this year. Have an amazing and beautiful day. Namaste.